Good morning. Welcome to Creative Living Fellowship. I am practitioner Peter Waring, and I will be leading the 15-minute silent meditation this morning. So let us begin.
Good morning and welcome to our Sunday morning service. Please join me in singing Use Me. Use me, oh God, I stand for you. And here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun. And God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use for you. And here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. And God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
I'm the Reverend Dr. Sherry F. McCreary. It is my pleasure, my honor, to be the senior minister here at Creative Living Fellowship. We are a religious science church and teaching center, and we welcome all paths that lead to truth. Our vision is to be a community of care, connection, and creation, and we do that through the principles and the practices of the science of mind. One of our practices here is holding the high watch, and what that means is that there's a practitioner who is holding a space, sitting in prayerful contemplation and meditation, just holding a space for the perfect unfolding of this service, and holding a space for the perfect unfolding of anything that may be going on with any of us. That practitioner that we have here today is Peter Waring. And so we thank you, Pete, for our service today, for your service today, and for holding the space for our service today. So let's take a deep breath together. I know you guys miss me saying that. So we take a deep breath as we just continue with this service. This is our second online-only service, and we are so grateful for the technology that we have that can allow us to bring this service to you and continue to connect with you in this way. We have a tech team in the back that is supporting us, Nicole Jordan and Luis Morales. Thank you both for your service here today. And we also have with us a few of our members here who are here supporting us also today. Just, well, I wouldn't say a few, maybe three, because we are practicing social distancing. And so I'd like to just welcome those who are online with us for the first time. We know that you had a lot of options today, and we're happy that you chose to spend this Sunday morning with us. And here at CLF, we have a special welcome message that we give to our first-time guests who visit us in person. But since you're first time with us online, we want to give that message to you also. So you don't have to do anything but just open your hearts and be available to receive it. We usually rub our hands together, and then we say together, whoever you are, wherever you've been, whatever brought you to our service today, we welcome you here into our hearts. Namaste. Namaste is a Sanskrit word that means the God in me recognizes and honors the God in you, and that we do. So we're going to have our announcements by Nicole Jordan this morning on video, and then after the announcements, there will be a brief silence, and then there'll be a gong wash. The gong wash will be followed by another brief silence, and then practitioner Fran Peck will bring us our reading and our opening prayer. I invite you to just open your hearts and really take in the words of the reading this morning and just allow them to find a place of resonance with you. Fran. Now the announcements.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship. Are you ready for your announcements? If you're having trouble seeing God in the current circumstances, stop. Breathe deep and reach out. Remember, we have practitioners, congregant care, and our animal chaplain available for prayer and support through our spiritual practices. So when the chaos of your internal transition gets too loud, give us a call. You can find a link to our prayer page in the comments below for the contact information of our on-call support team. Hey families, this announcement's for you. Our youth and family ministry group needed just a wee bit of time to adjust and regroup regarding these changes. So starting actually last Wednesday, you'll notice in our creative living group a lot more activity. We are going to be on there every day, asking questions, posting all kinds of stuff, getting engaged with you and your children. Please make sure that you check in and you post and you comment and share videos and pictures. We want to stay connected. We really, really, really miss you guys so much. And there's no way we're not going to continue nurturing the spirituality of these amazing kids. Now, the Creative Living Youth Group is all about those kids. So it is limited to families. Keep that in mind. We need to make sure it is a safe environment to those young ones. You'll find a link for the group in the comments below. Our midday silent meditation is still being held Monday through Thursday at noon. Join us through Facebook Live as we center in this sacred practice. Our Good Friday service will air online on April 10th at noon. This important tradition at CLF is a time to reflect on the phrases that are compiled from the Bible's 4 Gospels. The 7 last words of Christ on the cross are not words but phrases said to have been uttered by Jesus during the time of his darkest moments of crucifixion. We have all had those times, and we may be having them now, that we are seemingly bearing the cross or burdens. And we know through our science of mind principles that these times are the best times for transformation, for growth, resurrection, and renewal. Learn from this valuable service how we can gain a new perspective on difficulties and how to transform from those dark moments. Did you know that 89% of the people in a typical American congregation don't have a financial safety net? Shocked? With the current COVID-19 restrictions, we are being faced with this reality. But there's hope, and that hope is Financial Peace University. This is a 9-lesson course taught by Dave Ramsey and his team of financial experts. With Financial Peace University, you will learn step by step how to handle money using biblical wisdom and common sense. Through life-changing videos, online tools and resources, and group accountability, you will learn how to create and stick to a budget, save for emergencies, pay off debt, and plan for the future. Rochelle McCreary and Monica Zykis are facilitating our Financial Peace University class and helping us shift our financial circumstances. Just imagine the impact we could have on the community if we were all debt-free. Marriages and families would be strengthened. People would be freed up to be outrageously generous. This kind of hope will ignite change in our entire community and world. Class starts Wednesday, May 13th at 6:30 p.m. You can register online today with the link found in the comments. And that's it for today's announcements. It is now time to move on to our gong wash. Thank you so much, and I will see you online.
wholeness, seeking expression through everything. We are calling it simply life. The religionist calls it God. The philosopher calls it reality. Life is infinite energy coupled with limitless creative imagination. It is the invisible essence and substance of every visible form. Its nature is goodness, truth, wisdom, and beauty, as well as energy and imagination. Our highest satisfaction comes from a sense of conscious union with this invisible life. All human endeavor is an attempt to find such an inward wholeness that all sense of fear, doubt, and uncertainty vanishes. If we carry a light into a darkened room, the darkness is dissipated without effort on our part. So it is in the experience of one who has a deep consciousness of life. Something invisible but all-penetrating will flow through his every look and gesture. People will feel better by sitting in his presence. Healings will take place automatically. God is a divine presence, revealing himself to everyone who believes where God is recognized, there is life. Where the presence of God is realized, there is action. Where the goodness of God is acknowledged, there is peace. This reading is from This Thing Called Life by Ernest Holmes, page 3 and 4. So as we turn inward, letting those words just find a place deep where the power and the presence of Spirit resides, knowing that that power and that presence is life itself, knowing that the breath that I take is the breath of life breathing me. I know that that life is peace, that life is love, that life is harmony, that life is my very life. I am that I am. And knowing this is true for me, I know this is true for all. We are all that peace, that love, that life. So in this awareness, in this knowing, I speak my word into the law. I speak my word of blessing for this service. I speak my word of blessing for Reverend Dr. Sherry and her message, knowing that it is divinely inspired. I send special blessings out into the world, anywhere where it is needed. I send special blessings to our government, knowing that the power and presence of God is right where each of them is. And I know in God there is no lack. So I know that the resources and the people that are needed during this time are already right here, right now, in the one divine mind of God. I bless teachers of truth everywhere, knowing that we are all one. I bless our community, Creative Living Fellowship, knowing that they are divinely protected and wrapped in love. So in this knowing and with profound gratitude and thanksgiving for the perfect manifestation of this service, I simply release my word into that law that always and only says yes, knowing that it is already done. I release, I let go, I release in faith, I release in trust, and I release in truth. And so it is.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no positions. Well, I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, or a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Oh, you may say I'm a dreamer. Oh no, I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. Oh, and the world will be as one.
Thank you so much. That was Kirsten Plumbeck David, one of our favorites, back with us again at Creative Living Fellowship today. Thank you very much, Kirsten. And thank you very much to our music director, David Panessa. As you know, because of the social distancing and the guidelines, we don't have the Gods in the House band with us, but they're with us in our hearts. And we miss them very much, and we can't wait for all of us to be together again, just like we can't wait for all of our community to be together again. And that's what we will imagine, that we're all together again as one. And we still are as one right here and right now. So let's take a deep breath together as we just move deeper into our service here today. We've been talking all month about finding God in everything as we continue with our theme for the entire year, which is life is for living, just say yes. Life is for living, just say yes. And we've been just saying yes to God in so many ways, and saying yes to life in so many ways throughout our lives and throughout this time, knowing that life is a divine idea in the mind of God, and the only way we can experience that is through our livingness. And we do it through our livingness by our yes. and our yes that we say over and over and over again. And when we commit ourselves to finding God in everything, then we're saying yes on a much bigger level, a much deeper level. To find God in everything, we have to learn to look within, because that's where God is, within. And we've been looking at ways that we can release or uncover that within us that allows us to see God in everything. We've talked about seeing God and finding God through our wisdom, and finding God through our compassion, and finding God through our authenticity, and finding God on the path of transition, which is what we are experiencing right now, the path of transition. And so this week, we're looking at finding God through the eyes of humor, through the eyes of humor, through the eyes of humor. And sometimes that's not as easy as others, but it's extremely necessary for us to find God in humor, and find humor in everything, for God is in everything. And what that means is that with humor, we're looking at a state of mind, at a mood. And that state of mind, that humor, or that humorous state of mind opens us up. It allows us to open up. It allows us to lighten up. And that's what we need to do right now. That's not to say that this is not a serious time, because it really is. This is a very serious time. It's very serious things that we are experiencing right now. And we have to walk through it one step at a time, and we can't be so caught up in the seriousness of it that we lose ourselves, that we lose our connection to the one, that we lose our sense of who we are, and we lose our sense of what our source is and where our source is. Because yes, we're going through a crisis, but you know, there's a saying that the only crisis is fear. Because when we are so caught up in fear, we get caught up in believing in the reality of the crisis. And so the only thing that's real is God. And so when we begin to really, really look for God in everything, look for finding God in everything, then we can realize, okay, yes, we are experiencing a crisis right now. Yes, this is what we're calling a crisis right now. And there are other crises that have come, and this one will pass just like the other ones did. And then there will be other ones that will come, and we just stay focused on what we know to be true, that God is in the midst of the crisis. God is in the midst of everything. God is in the midst of all that we do. And so as we go through this time, I invite you to, yes, be where you are. Yes, acknowledge what you're experiencing. Yes, acknowledge what you're feeling. And while you're doing that, just recognize it's not necessary to go into spiritual bypass. Acknowledge where you are. There's a lot of anger that people are experiencing. A lot of anger about the loss that we all feel. Just think, 2 weeks ago seems like, when you think back on it, it seems like another whole era. And it was another era. Just 2 weeks ago, life was so different than it is now. And the fact that we are where we are now and experiencing what we are experiencing now makes it seem like, oh my gosh, 2 weeks ago, that was so long ago. It was so long ago that my daughter and I could ride in the same car. And now we can't. We wave at each other when if she's driving ahead of me and she passes me and she waves, and I wave back at her. That's how we greet each other now. And I'm sure that all of you are experiencing different kinds of changes, and different kinds of losses, and different kinds of things that make us angry, and different kinds of things that makes us afraid. There's a lot of fear around. We're experiencing a lot of fear. But when we scratch fear, underneath it is anger, and we get down to that anger, and we start looking at the anger that we can't do the things we want to do, we can't go the places we want to go, we can't live our lives the way we want to live them, and we are not in control of anything, we think, except ourselves, our own thinking, But we aren't in control of our environment, of our circumstances, or any of those things. And so when we start to get into that whole anger thing, when you scratch anger, you will find underneath that is grief. Underneath that is grief. Underneath that is grief. And there's a lot of grieving that's happening. Because all the things that we're looking at, all the things that we are experiencing, all the loss, all the no, we can't, all the restrictions, all those things make us feel restricted, make us feel limited, make us feel a sense of loss, and that creates grief for us. And I think it's important for us to recognize that we are experiencing grief. Yes, I am feeling sad. Yes, I am missing my friends. Yes, I am missing connecting with my community. Yes, I am missing so many things. So many things. And that's aside from the sense of loss when it comes to health and wholeness that we think we've lost, but particularly our health that comes up. And so all these things that as we go along, yes, we are acknowledging where we are. Yes, we are acknowledging the fear. Yes, we acknowledging the anger. Yes, we acknowledging the grief. We take a deep breath, and we know that in the midst of that, we can find humor. In the midst of that, we can lighten up. Because what humor does for us, it allows us to lighten up. It allows us to look at things with a different perspective. It allows us to sense into things differently. It allows us to see the absurdity of some things, even though they're necessary things to be doing. So I'm inviting you to find something to laugh at, find something to smile about, find something humorous in the little things that you do. Even when you're spending time by yourself, find something that you can just crack up about, something that you can just laugh about. Because what it does is it releases that tension, it releases that fear, it releases the endorphins, and it helps us physically to be able to laugh, because it allows our minds to clear, it allows our hearts to open, it allows us not to take things so seriously when we can laugh at things and laugh at the way we're doing things now. I was looking at as you know, my favorite Sunday morning show as I'm preparing to come here on Sunday morning, CBS Sunday Morning, and one of the humorists on there was talking about what his life is like now after spending 2 weeks in quarantine with his wife and 5 children in their New York apartment. That in itself will make you laugh without him saying another word. We assume that his apartment is big enough to hold 7 people, but 5 small children all day, every day for 2 weeks. And he says that they find themselves on this regular loop where they get up, they eat, they clean, and they argue. And then a few hours later, they eat again, they clean again, and they argue again. And he says now they mix it up. Sometimes they get up and they argue and they eat and they clean. And sometimes they eat and they argue and they clean. And then sometimes they just argue. And so it was really funny, but you know, that's how our lives have become. They've changed so much, and we have to be able to find the humor in that and be able to coexist if we're in the house with somebody else, if we're in the house with small children. We all have to be able to coexist. We have to be able to go about our lives and find the humor in it and see how we can adjust, because what humor does, it gives us an opportunity to get a different perspective. When we get a different perspective, we recognize that God is in the midst of it all. When we can lighten up, our hearts open up, and we begin to see, yes, this is really annoying, and I know that God's in the midst of this too. I know that God's in the midst of this, and we're walking through this. We aren't blocked off. We aren't walled off in anger and walled off in grief. We are allowing that joy that is within us, that is inherent within us, to come forth. You know, there's that Ricky Byers song, "It All Fades into God," that in the midst of my pain is the seed of my strength. And I say that in the midst of my pain is the seed of my joy. And the seed of our joy is what humor brings forth. It brings forth that joy, and joy is God itself. Joy is a quality of God. It is God itself. And so when we can tap into that makes us laugh, we can tap into that we find humorous, that we can tap into that opens our hearts, then we allow that joy within us to reveal itself. We allow that joy within us to reveal itself. And when it reveals itself, that's God revealing itself. And that's how we find God, through the eyes of humor. We find God through the eyes of humor. I have to tell you this because I can't get it out of my mind right now. There's a cartoon on one of the Facebook groups that I belong to of a man standing in his kitchen with a dog on the floor beside him, and he's looking up, and there's a dog on top of the tall cabinets in the kitchen. And the dog is saying to the man, "We've been on 20 walks today. I'm not coming down. Let me alone. Leave me alone. We have walked 20 times today. Leave me alone." And every time I see that cartoon, I laugh out loud because I think about that poor dog, that poor man. They've been on 20 walks. How many people can relate to that? How many people can relate to the things that we do over and over and over again just to get some sense of normalcy, just some sense of control over what we're doing? And what we do is we begin to do those things that really have us sometimes feel that we're in control when we really aren't. But it makes us feel like we are if I'm going to take the dog for a walk. And then I'm going to take the dog for another walk. And then I'm going to walk the dog again. And so we just keep doing that over and over again, and we just have to stop sometimes and laugh at that. The same way if you don't have dogs, if you don't have animals, if you're doing obsessive cleaning or obsessive eating or obsessive whatever it is that you're doing, just allow yourselves to be with that, see that, and laugh at that. And that's the way you can change that. That's the way you can change that, just by finding the humor in whatever it is you do. And so let's take a breath together. And so as we go through this time of just not knowing, that time of being in the not know, which is one of the scariest places to be, learning how to live in that not know place, learning how to be in that not know place, learning how to be in that place where we know, even though I don't know what's going to happen next, I don't know how this is going to turn out, I know that God knows. There's that within me that does know. And I'm just attaching myself and aligning myself to that one that does know, and allowing myself to be guided, allowing myself to be directed, allowing myself to be guarded, allowing myself to be protected by the all that is. And the all that is God, and that is what I am finding in everything. So in every situation, in every circumstance, in every event that goes on, we just have to continue to return to center. Return to the truth that we know. Return to the truth of knowing that God is right here, right now, right where I am. And even in this moment, I'm going to open my heart, I'm going to open my mind, I'm going to open my entire beingness to God, and I'm going to allow joy to come forth. I'm going to allow it to come forth as humor, as something to laugh at. So I invite you to find something to laugh about every day, several times a day, not just once. Find something to laugh about every day. In order to do that, oftentimes you have to turn the TV off, or turn the news off, or turn to a different channel, or whatever the case may be. But find something to laugh about every day. Every day. And you may ask yourself, just in sitting around, if you're by yourself, or if you're with somebody else, ask the question, what is the funniest thing that has happened today? What is the funniest thing that's happened today? And then share that with somebody else. Or share it, just write it out for yourself if that's what you need to do. What's the funniest thing that's happened today? If you do a lot of Facebook posts, you might want to ask that question. What's the funniest thing that's happened today? What's the funniest thing that's happened this week? That makes us thinking. That gets us to thinking some. What's the funniest thing that's happened this week? What's the funniest thing that's happened in my life? What's the funniest thing that's happened that's ever happened in my life? That's something that really makes us have to dig deep. It makes us have to remember, because sometimes things can be so heavy for us. Sometimes things can disturb us so much that we have to dig deep to find something that is humorous to us, that finds something that enlightens us up. And so asking the question, what's the funniest thing that ever happened in my life? You got to stop and think about it. You got to think about other people. You got to think about other situations. And you know what happens? When you start doing that, it takes your mind off the present moment. It takes your mind off the situation that you're in now. And so I'm inviting you to just start to think about, what's the funniest thing that ever happened in my life? And then when you start to do that, allow yourself to laugh. You know, laugh is an innate gift, a gift that we were given since before we came into this plane. Babies laugh. Babies laugh. They come in laughing. They don't even know what laughter is, but they come in laughing. Because you know what, when they come in, they are closer to God than we can be sometimes, because they just got here and they haven't been caught up in the density of this plane that we live on. And so they laugh. They laugh, and then it makes people around them laugh. Have you ever noticed? Laughter, like fear, is contagious. Wouldn't you rather be caught up in the contagion of laughter than in the contagion of fear? And so I invite you to laugh. Find something to laugh about. And know that that's your gift from God. That's your innate ability to laugh, to find more and more to laugh about. I was reading a book about a woman who had worked with Mother Teresa in India. And she worked with a little girl who was blind and deaf. But the child loved to laugh, and would laugh so much that people all around her would laugh. And what she loved to do was when she would laugh so much, someone would pick her up because they would be laughing also. And when the adult would pick her up and laughing, the child would put her head on the chest of the person who picked her up so that she could feel the vibration of the laughter coming from the other person. She couldn't see it and she couldn't hear it, but she could feel that vibration of laughter. She could feel that vibration of joy. She could feel that vibration of God and that connection with that other person. And so that's what I'm talking about for us, feeling that vibration of laughter, feeling that vibration of joy, knowing that joy is always with us because it is a quality of God and is always seeking expression and giving expression through our humor. And that's what we have to do, just recognize that we are just going to lighten up and we're going to reclaim our gift of laughter. Reclaim our gift of laughter, finding something to laugh about every day. In reclaiming our gift of laughter, one thing we want to keep in mind is that laughter has to be uplifting. The things that we laugh about have to be uplifting and enlightening. We don't want it to be at the expense of someone else. We don't want it to be our humor to be degrading. We don't want it to be divisive. We want it to be connecting. We want it to be from that place of oneness, from that place of joy, from that place of purity, from that place of love. And just for the sake of laughing and enjoying and changing our perspective. And so that's what I'm inviting you to do today. Just look at the things that bring you joy. Look at the things that bring you joy. Look at the ways in which you can find things to laugh about, find things to feel peace about, find things to feel joy about, find things to feel and experience the qualities of God. You know, one of those is making a list. If you're going to make a list of the things that make you laugh, count your blessings. And we make a list of the things that we feel are blessings in our lives, then it opens our hearts. It makes us smile, because you can't think of a blessing without smiling. It's hard to think of how blessed you are or how a blessing came to you with a frown on your face. So I'm inviting you to think about the blessings, count your blessings, write them down. And as you write them down, you go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And what that does is it helps us to lighten up. It helps us to release some of the tension. It helps us to relax a bit. It helps us to just move into that place of knowing, you know what? Everything is okay. Everything is okay. We hear people saying that everything's going to be okay. We know that everything is okay. It just has to, the facts have to catch up with the truth. The facts have to catch up with the truth. And when we recognize that everything is okay because everything is God, God is in the midst of everything, so everything has to be okay. But the facts out here have to catch up. And so despite what we may see as far as appearances go, despite what our experiences may be, we know that in the midst of it all, everything's okay. We know that in the midst of it all, we are protected, we are guided, we are loved. We know that in the midst of it all, that one power, that one presence, that one mind, that one breath, that one activity that is God is right where we are, is in the midst of everything that's going on. And so when we can stay in that place of knowing that truth, when we can stay in that place of trusting, and daring to say everything is okay. Everything is okay. Look at all these blessings I just wrote down. Making a gratitude list. When we make a gratitude list, we can't not enumerate the things that we're grateful for without a smile. We can't enumerate the things that we're grateful for without an open heart. We can't enumerate the things that we're grateful for with a closed mind and a closed heart. We can't do that. And so when we can just take a breath and start to enumerate the things that we're grateful for, our hearts open, our minds open, our mood shifts. And oftentimes it'll be something humorous. Oftentimes it'll be something that makes us laugh, or allow it to be something that makes us laugh, that makes us chuckle, that makes us smile, that makes us relax. And to recognize that laughter is good for our health because it releases the endorphins, as I said, in our brains. It boosts our immune system, which we really need to have happen right now. Anything that will boost our immune system, and laughter will do that for us. When we laugh, we also it also helps our blood pressure because there's a freedom of the flow of blood, so that everything, the systems in our bodies are operating properly. All kinds of things happen when we can allow ourselves to return to that place of humor. Return to that place of joy. Return to that place of the open heart. Return to that place of God. Of God. That's what everything amounts to. Returning unto God. Returning unto God. And every time we return unto God, every time we return unto that place where we know the truth of our being is that we are made in the image and likeness and out of God itself, whenever we return to that place, all things are made new. All things are made new in each and every moment of each and every day. All things are made new when we return unto God, when we return unto the truth that we know, when we return unto that one that is the one, that is the source of our being. When we return unto that and knowing that we are made in this image and likeness, we dare to act like we know it. And we dare to take a deep breath, and we dare to relax, and we dare to say, everything is okay. Everything is okay. Everything is okay as I walk through this time. Yea, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I know that thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. This is what we know to be the truth. This is what we know to be the truth. Yea, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I know that thou art with me. I know that thou art with me. I know that thou art with me. This is the truth that I know. This is not something that somebody told me. This is the truth that I know. This is the truth that you know. And I'm inviting you to open up and stand in that truth that you know. Yea, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I know that thou art with me. Because thou art always with me. Because thou art that within which I live and move and have my being. And I know that thou lives and moves and has its being in me. And so we just stand in this truth that we know. That God is all there is and God is everywhere present. God is always on the field, and that means that everything is okay. Let's take a breath together as we smile. Allow ourselves to smile. Allow ourselves to feel the freedom of a smile. Allow ourselves to relax. Allow ourselves to release. Allow ourselves to open up. Allow ourselves to lighten up. Allow ourselves to not take anything so seriously that we can't remember that we can find God in this moment right here and right now. And so let's take a breath as we find God and allow God to reveal itself in and through and as us in this moment right here and right now, whatever might be before us. We know that God's in the midst of it right here and right now. And so we breathe into this moment as I just recognize that there's only one power, one presence, one mind, one life, one breath. God. God, God. God, God. By whatever name you call it, it is the source of our being. You may not call it anything, but we know that it is the source. It is in the midst of everything that goes on in our lives as our lives. And so just knowing this truth, I know that this one is my very life. I know this one is that within which I live and move and have my being. I know this one lives in me. This one animates me. This one breathes me. This one is me. And so I say thank you, God, as I know the truth for each of us, as I speak the word for each of us this day. Just knowing that all is well. All is well. As we walk through this time of transition, as we walk through this time of change, as we walk through this time of the unknown, I know that we don't walk alone. I know that we are guided, we are directed, we are guarded, we are protected. I know that all needs are being met for each and every one of us in each and every moment. Even when we are in a place of not knowing where the next whatever is coming from, there's that within us that knows and that is always providing for each of us. And we open our hearts and we open our minds to receive. We just say yes to it. Say yes to that one. Say yes to provision. Say yes to supply. Say yes to God. We lighten up. We laugh, we smile, we allow joy to reveal itself. Even in the midst of pain, we allow joy to reveal itself. And we walk through this time doing what is before us to do, knowing that there's that presence that goes before us always, making straight our way in all ways. We lean on this presence. We lean on this power. We lean on this knower. And we trust. We trust God more than we trust anything and anyone. And know indeed that all indeed is well. All is well. This word goes out to anyone who's affected by the COVID-19 virus and just knowing that God is in the midst of everything. All of this God is in the midst of. And that healing is happening on every level. And we may not know what healing looks like, but it's happening on every level. And we trust and we allow it to unfold, knowing that it unfolds divinely and perfectly. In the circle of prayer that I've opened here, I pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names and you may speak them silently or loud, but you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names are spoken here this day, I know that God is in the midst of everything going on with them. For God is their very life. This prayer goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, knowing that God is all that there is. And God is in the midst. And just knowing that God is all we ever need to know. Thank you, Father, Mother God. Thank you, Infinite Presence. Thank you, Divine Mother. I just allow it to be now. And so it is. So this brings us now to our offering time. This is a time that we give of our tithes and our offerings. And Creative Living Fellowship is a tithing church, so we invite you to participate in that sacred practice with us by pressing the donate button on your Facebook page or on our website. And as you do that, I'd like to just remind you that even though we have discontinued our in-person services, our financial obligations have not been discontinued. And they continue to go on here. So we ask that you continue with your financial contributions to this center. We noticed last week that our contributions are way down, and we would like to keep the doors open and the lights on. And we'd like to have a place for you to come back to, those of you who are part of this community who come here regularly for our in-person services. We'd like to have this place for you to come back to. So we ask you to continue with your donations, continue with your contributions, continue with your support of this community that we all love so much. And one of the ways you can do that so that you don't forget is to, when you go in, press the auto tithe button. And the auto tithe button would just mean automatically, however often you say, every week, every 2 weeks, every month, however you want to set that up, your tithe will automatically come out, and CLF will be automatically supported by you, because we know that's your intention anyway, is to support us financially. We thank you for that. We love that. And we invite you to now press that donate button on the Facebook page as Deb starts to lead us into our offering song, I Say Yes. And you guys know it. Let's sing it all together.
I say yes. I say yes. Every day of my life, I say yes, 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 yes. When I wake up in the morning and lay my head to rest, I say yes. I say yes. I say yes. I say yes to God's will and God's way. I say yes, 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 yes. When the Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I agree, and my answer's always yes, yes, yes. When the Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I agree, and my answer's always yes, yes, yes.
Thank you, Deb. Let's take a breath as we say our offering blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. And so it is. So I just have a couple of closing announcements for you. We have on-call practitioners available to pray with you. So just go to our website, click on the prayer button, and there will be a contact list of practitioners who are available to pray with you. So if you are in need of prayer, would like to talk with a practitioner, make sure that you avail yourselves of the service that the practitioners are providing for us every day. You can check it out anytime and call them because they are on call. I'd like to thank you for joining us today again. I'm glad that you are participating in this wonderful technology that we have, that we can connect with each other on Sunday mornings. I trust that you will continue to visit with us on Sunday mornings. And also, we have our live streaming of our midday meditation Mondays through Thursdays from noon to 12:30. So continue to participate in that because this community meditates together every day at noon, whether we are in person or online or wherever we are. We at least connect energetically to do our meditation every day. I would like you to continue to check your newsletters and the Facebook page to find out, and your email, to find out any updates that we have for our services and offerings. And we will be offering more things, but right now, just continue to check your newsletter and our Facebook page. Continue to check the CDC website for updates on the health concerns and the health guidelines so that we can all stay safe. And I invite you to continue to do that maybe once a day, but we don't need to watch the news to get it over and over and over again, as I said before. And most of all, reach out to each other, connect with each other, send a text, make a phone call, send an email. How are you doing? I'm thinking of you. I love you. I miss you. We will be reaching out to you, and we'd love it if you reach out to us also. And if there's something that you need, call us, because the office is open Mondays through Fridays, but not Monday through Thursday, but not to the public. So that's about all that I have. Thank you again for joining us this morning. It's been wonderful spending this time with you. And now Kirsten is going to bring us our closing song.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough, and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. When you're down and out, when you're on the streets, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and the pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. Sail on, silver girl, oh, won't you sail on by? Your time has come to shine, and all your dreams are on the way. See how they shine. And if you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind.